Why do you believe that we have many teachers but few fathers? And they're quoting, I think, Paul
Yeah,
at
yeah.
that point. And how do we raise up people who didn't have fathers themselves to father the next generation?
Fathers just have a different approach to family than teachers. Teachers want to make sure everything's
Right.
right. Everything's right. And if you think like me, you're right.
Yeah,
Then,
exactly, yeah.
Now, there's that pressure to be right. And a family functions different. A family just, a family can sit down at the Thanksgiving table and have people on both sides of the political aisle as children, and husband and wife can think differently about a lot of different issues. But when it's family, that takes precedent. And a healthy father in a healthy family, we're talking about, a father always wants his kids to do better than him. In other words, I'm not going to become jealous because my son excelled, went beyond my accomplishments. And fathers are that way. Fathers have a sense of security in who they are and live with the realization that they live now for someone else. They are actually going to pay a price to create a momentum, an inheritance for another generation. And you don't just learn to do that out of a discipline. You need that father's heart. You need to feel his heart for people. I don't know any other way to do that than to see people through his eyes, to see the value in people that think different than you, that function and operate different than you. It's a huge part of what's needed in the body of Christ is fathers, mothers, people that will look into the heart of a child and train them up in the way they should go, not in the way the leader thinks they should go. In other words, I'm not training my spiritual son for my glory, for my benefit, but actually so that they become everything God meant for them to become. It's just a different perspective. It's a shift. And when teachers, Paul said, you may have 10,000 teachers. It's not that hard to tell people what to do.
Yeah.
But it's
You
another
don't need
thing.
a ton of investment in the people.
Exactly, yeah.
Here's the truth, take it or leave it. I'm going to the next place, or I'll just teach the next message.
That's right. There's a lot of folks that think they know how everyone else should live. But fathers have the way you said it was right, the investment. In other words, I've invested in you, my son, my daughter. I've invested in you. And I'm going to be here after it works, and I'm going to be here after it fails. I'm going to be here regardless. And that's what spiritual moms and dads do as well. You don't have to have had great family to learn how to be a good, a good family. I mean, I won't mention names, but we've got people around our team. They were not raised in good homes, but they have brilliant homes. They're wonderful parents. They are wonderful grandparents. They just know what they're doing. But they weren't raised in an environment where they learned it. They did learn it. They had to observe it somewhere.
They learned as adults.
Exactly. Exactly. And it basically comes down to just discovering the heart of God for yourself. If you can become settled with how he views you, how he, his heartbeat for you, that becomes substance. That becomes food. That becomes something where you want to replicate that. You want to represent him well towards other people. And it's extremely doable. But you have to lay down the need to be right all the time. It just doesn't work well in that setting.